The Rescue Princesses. Chapter 9. Trapped. "I watched your little game on the lawn this afternoon," Duke Raven continued, "and I knew you were going to interfere with my plans." "But we're only trying to help the deer," said Clarabelle. Emily stared at the Duke. "Your plans, so that's why we saw those men in the forest. You sent them in there. You're the one trying to trap the deer. Why would you want to do such a terrible thing?"
"Deer antlers will look delightful on my palace wall," the Duke sneered. "After I've chosen the best pair for myself, I'll sell the rest. Mistburg Forest deer have the most beautiful antlers in the world. They'll make me an awful lot of money."
His narrow eyes glittered. "We'll go and tell King Goodlin what you're doing," said Lulu.
"He'll never believe you. I'm his cousin, and you don't have any proof. Without that, he'd never believe anything bad about me."
With an air of complete satisfaction, Duke Raven strolled back across the lawn toward the castle. "Now what?" cried Lulu, shaking the gates angrily. They clanged loudly, but the padlock held them shut. "Is there another way to get into the forest?" asked Emily. Jamenta shook her head. "I don't think so. This is the only way out of the castle grounds, unless we can climb the fence." Lulu tried to haul herself up the wooden fence, but slipped down again right away. "It's too high and slippery," said Clarabelle. "We need something to climb up on," said Jamenta. Lulu's eyes gleamed. "How about each other's shoulders?" "Do you really think that would work?" asked Emily doubtfully. "We've never tried it before." "I don't like being high up, but I'll try anything to help the deer." Clarabelle's face was pale but determined. They arranged themselves next to the fence and climbed unsteadily up onto one another's shoulders. Lulu, as the tallest, was at the bottom, followed by Emily, then Jamenta. Clarabelle, as the shortest, was left to climb past them all to reach the very top. "This is terrible!" she cried, after falling off for the 7th time. "I just can't balance." Luckily, the grass underneath her gave her a soft landing. "Why don't I try?" suggested Emily, and after a lot of wobbling she managed to scramble past Clarabelle to the top of the fence. Pushing her hair out of her eyes, she leaned down and pulled Clarabelle up. Between them they hauled up Jamenta and finally Lulu. They had chosen a place where a sturdy tree branch stretched across to the fence on the forest side. One by one they scooted along the branch and down the tree trunk to the ground. "Phew!" said Emily as she landed on the forest floor. "I guess Duke Raven wasn't expecting us to do that." "Duke Raven is a bad man," said Lulu stormily, and the others agreed. They picked their way through the forest, directed by Jamenta's compass and the light from her bracelet. Then a rustling up ahead made them stop. Something moved. It stepped into a shimmering shaft of moonlight and stood there, its antlers transformed into silver. "Look!" breathed Emily. "It's a stag!" The beautiful animal turned its head toward her, listening. "Are we ready?" asked Clarabelle. "I'll make the danger call to scare it far away." They all nodded. Clarabelle lifted her hands to her lips and made a series of high-pitched noises. The stag heard the sound and galloped away, his hoofs echoing through the trees. "It's working! Keep going, Clarabelle," said Emily. "We'll find the traps." Jamenta quickly handed out diamonds to Emily and Lulu, and the three of them scoured the forest floor, waiting for their diamonds to light up when they found any metal. "Here's one!" cried Emily. Her diamond glowed, shedding its light like a forest star. Jamenta rushed over and showed her how to spring the trap, making its deadly jaws close around a stick. "Once the trap's sprung, it's useless," she explained. "It can't hurt an animal after that." They rushed from place to place, hunting down the traps in the darkness. Each princess worked fast. The silence was broken only by the snap of closing traps and Clarabelle's deer calls ringing eerily through the forest. Emily felt as if her diamond was leading her through the trees, as if it knew where she needed to go. Each time it lit up a little brighter, and Emily sprang the trap and hurried on, trailing diamond light behind her like stardust. As the hint of a pink sunrise peeked through the trees, the princesses gathered around their oak tree again. Sleepiness was starting to cloud over Emily's eyes, but she gave herself a shake. This was no time to lose concentration. "How many traps have you found?" she asked. "Two," replied Lulu. "Three," said Jamenta. "I found 4. That makes 9 altogether," said Emily. "That means there's only one left to find." "That's great," Lulu yawned. "It can't be far away. Let's keep going." They spread out again. Emily walked along, staring so hard at her diamond that she didn't even notice where she was going. At last the sparkling stone glowed white. Emily grinned. She'd found the very last trap. A rustling made her look up. She was standing in a forest glade full of flowers and thick grass. Deer grazed quietly all around her, and there, right in the middle, was the trap. Emily froze. The deer were everywhere, full-grown ones and babies. Any sudden movement or noise could make them run, and one might run straight into the trap. The thought of hearing it snap shut on a deer made Emily shiver inside. She turned as slowly as she could. "Clarabelle," she croaked, "where are you?" The deer raised their heads, poised to run. "I'm right here, Emily," answered Clarabelle. "I'll wait for your signal." Step by tiny step, Emily edged toward the trap. If she could get to it, then maybe she could stop the deer from coming near it. She could keep them safe. As she got closer, she could see how well the trap was hidden in the long grass. "Clarabelle, now!" she called softly. Clarabelle let out the deer's danger call, and the animals took flight, galloping away through the trees. Emily felt relief flood through her. She grabbed a stick and sprang the trap. Its teeth snapped shut tight, like a metal crocodile. "We did it!" said Clarabelle. Emily picked up the closed trap and glared at it. "This is the one we're taking to show King Goodland. It's time he knew what's been going on." End of chapter 9. I love you, girls.